And one, we are live. Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us for Past the Scope EDU goes Periscope Producer style. How about that? We're not going to do this like a panel. This is actually just going to be an open discussion amongst some of the members of Past the Scope EDU on our Boxer group. And you're going to hear conversations from our kids in the background, so don't mind that at all. We really just want to talk about some of the tips and tricks that we've learned so far by playing around with a Periscope Producer. Want to give a quick shout out to Alex. How do you pronounce Alex's last name?
I think it's Pettit.
Pettit, who we have all gleaned something from with his fabulous Periscope Producer skills. So we're going to go at it. So Dan has tried it. Stacy has gone at it. Dan, actually, excellent job today. I caught your. I was assuming you were doing it in a sort of a webinar fashion today.
Yeah, I was inspired by the conversation that we had in our EduMatch Boxer group this morning, and I thought, let me sort of send out a scope, and it was during the day, so I knew I wouldn't get too many live viewers, but it was another chance to mess around with OBS Studio. The new piece that I added today was the design that I used for my lower third. I made a little graphic in Canva, and then I put it up there, and it showed my name and Twitter handle and stuff like that. As far as the actual, it was pretty straightforward, but you use OBS Studio.
So if anybody did not catch it, we'll drop a link in our Boxer group and possibly on Twitter as well, so you can catch it out. I thought he did a great job. Where you were bouncing around with the graphics to actually show your audience what you were talking about. Would be really, really tight if we were able to annotate over those.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan, when you were doing your lower third in Canva, can you tell us what
the settings were?
What the size was? Now, I use free Canva, so I have no control. I have to start with one of their templates. So what did you do?
No, you don't. You don't actually. Let me just open Canva in the background, and then I'll kind of refresh my own memory. I also use the free version, and I know what you're saying, that they have those templates, but there is a way to use whatever they call it, custom dimensions, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly which specifications I set it to.
Yeah, so remember though, when you're producing in landscape mode, the width is 960.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want your banner to stretch the entire width of your screen, you're going to have a width of 960.
Okay.
The way I did.
Would you mind if I shared my screen for a second?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. Let's see. All right.
Okay,
are you
so
seeing my key?
There you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, Stacy, see up in the right-hand corner where it says Use Custom Dimensions?
I do. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
Maybe it's a new feature. I don't know. I found it. I stumbled across it. Sorry. So it could be new.
Dimensions.
So I had to basically do, I want to say, 3 or 4 different iterations of my graphic before I got it to about the size that I needed. Tell me what the size is. If I open it, I want to say, and I hear what you're saying, Brian, but I went rogue. Oh, here it is. I did 1400 pixels wide by 200, and that seemed to just about fill screen. and then I had to just expand it a little tiny bit once it actually got into OBS Studio.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I went the pixel route, and I just bumped up the resolution. So if you're going to use the pixels as your dimensions, you know, the higher, of course, you use is the clearer the image is going to be. And then, like Dan just said, you just have to stretch it out to fit the width of the document.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because the reason I was asking about dimensions, and I was feeling like it would be the best to have your graphic be the size you wanted it to be, and I know that I'm probably not being precise enough about my language as far as the size of it is because when you go to from a scene, one scene to another scene to another scene, and you want to use that same background and that same lower third without having to recreate it and resize it each time. If you just add the image, like in a scene, you can add the same image every time. You just go add existing. But if you do that, then each time you have to resize it and get it, to look to be exactly the same, stretched exactly the same amount. So I was hoping to find like that perfect size so that I would add it once and just have it be perfect. Does that make sense, or am I doing it wrong?
Yeah, I'm not clear on that, because each time that I add it just once, and I can rotate things from scene to scene, it actually stays in its place. But I'm also speaking from a Mac sense as well. But I can always see the outline in my preview window of the existing banner if I hide it from the screen. So like if I want to go from scene to scene, I simply just hide the banner. You know how you can click on the little preview eye? That just simply hides it, and you go ahead and fade or cut for the viewer's window.
Yeah, that's how I do the graphics that open and close. Like when I did the scope last week, and I did my like top 10 countdown of the EdTech tools. They were all loaded up as separate images, and then every time I wanted one to show up, I clicked on the eye. When I wanted it to turn off, I clicked it again and clicked on another eye.
Okay.
Are y'all able to screen share those, like what you're talking about, those steps? Or like,
I believe so.
Yeah, I will try in just a second. Let me go ahead and pull it up and set it up real quick.
Hey, can you guys do me a favor? Can you guys back all the way up and talk about OBS and producer OBS and all that, just to frame a reference? I know you guys talked about it, but I haven't tried it yet, so I don't even know is it an app that you have to your computer, and that gives you access to Periscope. Is that what OBS is?
Yeah, I'll do that, and then maybe Dan or Brian, if one of you or maybe both of you would maybe share your screen and just show me. I would love to have you start at the beginning and just like show me a workflow, like how you would set one up using like, because I've played with scenes and profiles and just sort of thrown things up there, but I don't think that I'm doing it like the most efficiently. Like I said, I feel like it kind of worked, but not really on purpose, just kind of by accident. So to tool, so OBS is a free software that you can download to your computer. It has to be downloaded to a desktop of some kind, Mac or PC. And here's like the big epiphany that took me like pretty much all of Saturday to figure out, because I really had no idea what it was, is it lets you use your computer to produce a stream that goes to Periscope. So the direction, and I don't know why this was like a newsflash for me, but the direction of the stream is from your computer and out to Periscope. For some reason, I thought that it was Periscope to the computer. And that literally took me a long time to figure out. So you go to your Periscope app in the settings, and you get some information from the Periscope Producer part of your app on your phone. You get a key and a thing that looks like a website. It starts with RTMP, and you need that information from the app, but then you go to OBS on your computer and you type that information in, and then there are a bunch of settings that you have to step through to set up your audio and your video and the stream, and that basically links OBS to Periscope, to your channel, and lets you broadcast from your computer. And the cool thing about it, if you watch the Periscope Producer broadcasts, is that gives you all of these tools where you can put the lower thirds and the backgrounds, and you can have all of these features that get added to your Periscope show.
Cool. So basically, the software connects with Periscope, and you can Periscope from your desktop, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can add all that, because I saw the one that you did, Stacy, and Valerie. Anyone else did the Pass the Scope this month using OBS?
Oh yeah.
I did it as well.
Brian did.
Yeah?
And
you guys were able
yeah, I
to-
did, Brian did, and I think Claudio too as well.
Audio did as well. That's correct. Let's see here. I
And
was.
then pull the different things off through OBS.
Say it again.
You guys were able to pull up all of the different.
Do you see my screen now? Are you guys able to see my screen?
Mm-hmm. I see it, Brian.
I think it's coming. I don't see it yet. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Uh-oh, I just lost
I'm
it.
going to make you full screen so I can see you.
Give me a second. I just
You
lost
see
it.
it, Nicole?
Yeah, I see it. Can you guys hear me? All right.
Yeah, we can hear you. So this is OBS Studio in studio mode. And essentially, you would use the settings. First of all, you have to establish it on your phone. Okay, I can pull up my phone in a second on this screen. But once you activate the producer on your phone, it will give you streaming keys. Let me go back in here into the stream here. So Periscope on your phone will give you a URL and then a stream key, which allows OBS to speak to your Periscope account and therefore create the connection that it needs to stream via Periscope from your producer studio on your desktop. Now, does that make sense, Tutul?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this particular area here, over here on my left.
Brian, do you have the reflector set up?
Reflector?
Actually mirror your phone screen?
Yeah, I can set up reflector real quick. It's not a problem.
By the way, Stacy, I know you have an Android phone. Not sure, Valerie, what you have, or Tatul.
Android.
The screen mirroring app that I just got, which is I think a pretty good one, is called AirDroid, AIRDROID. It allows you to mirror your phone screen so that you could do like what Brian was doing with Reflector and actually show in OBS Studio what you're doing on your phone. It also allows you to transfer files from your phone to your computer, or basically run your phone from your computer. It's kind of neat.
So let me ask you this. Can you see when I click on something in Producer?
Yes, we can see your mouse.
So when I click the plus sign, do you see that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm actually going to go ahead and add the reflector. And I'm actually going to do it as a window capture, because it creates a window for me. So therefore, I'm going to name it based on how I understand what I'm actually putting into my scenes. So I'm just going to go ahead and name it Reflector. Now you
Okay.
have that choice. So now that you notice it's on window over there in the red, it will automatically pull up all the windows that you have open. So you can see here towards the middle, top middle, it'll say Reflector 2. That's the name of the program that's creating the window, and my phone.
Okay, so we can see, okay, now we can see your phone in
Right.
your, on the left. We couldn't see when you were, we couldn't see the box where you were adding reflector in the information.
So when I click on the drop down, you don't see these options.
We couldn't see the pop-up now.
That's. I
But
wonder if
now
that's.
we can see the phone itself.
You can see the phone itself in. Oh, so yeah, you're not seeing the actual actions from what I'm doing when I'm clicking. That's not good.
Yeah. Here, you want,
Well,
you know what? Want to see my screen? Oh, now, yeah, now I can see I can see your phone on the left-hand side, the side that is not the where you haven't sent it.
mm-hmm.
What are the two sides called?
Oh, this is the preview side
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, I can see it on the preview side, and it was sitting like right on top of your head. And now it's so now you just sent it over to the broadcast side.
Right. So I can do a cut or a fade, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but you can actually set how the transition actually comes in. So if you do a fade, you can set its timing. So my fade is at 600 milliseconds. So you can actually change that if you want to. Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I were to add something new to my screen, I will see it first in my preview window before my viewers would see it. So it allows me to manipulate, the banners, the images, my phone, whatever the case is, before my viewers will actually see it. And then I simply click on fade or cut, and then it will immediately become viewable for the audience. That's there. So Dan, were you asking me to show this so I can back up to the producer part?
Yeah, Tatul, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay.
I just I figured you might have questions about where to go in the Periscope settings because it's, if I'm wrong, guys, Periscope Producer was something that originally you had to apply for and be selected, but now it's basically open to everyone. You just have to find it in your advanced settings.
Yep, that's correct.
That is correct. So once you click on the three people silhouette down at the bottom, and then you click on your profile silhouette, you're simply just going to go over here to where it says settings. Click on settings. In your advanced sources, you should see Periscope Producer as an option. Once you click on that, when it's your first time doing it, it's just going to have the plus create new source. Okay. And what that does, it actually sets up Periscope to have the ability to be broadcasted from somewhere else. So it will give you that server URL, which what I tried to show you in the settings, and then it will give you that stream. Now I will say this just as a caveat: when you set up this, don't share your stream key, because if someone else has your stream key, they can actually take over your producer account. I just wanted to let y'all know that in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
So the stream key, is that what I'm putting in OBS?
Yeah.
Yep. That's correct. Cool.
So I should set up OBS.
Well, it's two. It's
right?
I could. Okay.
So first you have to create a what is it called? A source Periscope Producer, and then once you have the two things, the URL and the stream key, those two things are the information that's needed to put in to set up the live stream in OBS Studio.
And what was helpful for me, Tatul, was Stacy reminding me, if you just do a simple Google of Periscope Producer Guide, it's like a PDF document that has the visuals. that you can follow the steps, and that will make sense to you with the stream
Yeah.
key
Yeah, like that.
and the URL. So I was able to follow those step by step on that. Just Google. It was like the first thing that popped up.
Okay.
They can just see what's on my screen right there, sweetheart. Oh. That's my little superstar. Let me say hello.
Hey, superstar.
Hi, superstar. So Valerie, you said to Google Periscope Producer Guide?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And it's like I think it's only like a 2-page document, and it just goes step by step, and it shows you exactly, what to do.
You can go to periscope.tv as well. If you get those links, and down at the bottom it'll say producer, and that'll give you a guide as well. I'm not sure if it's the same or not. Who knows?
Probably
What are you
is.
doing, London? Okay, so Dan.
Yeah,
Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so when you were, we noticed that you positioned yourself in a different portion of the screen.
Yep.
Like such. And then over here on the side, you put another image, full screen, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I have. So yeah, I had the window where I was capturing the video. So me, I had the one image as my lower third in the bottom that said my name and and then what you saw in the upper right hand part of my screen, that full screen background image. I layered everything so that always stays in the back behind everything.
All right, so I was hoping you would go there. The layering is important. So when you're in the source,
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead. It's easy for you to show it because it's on your screen, but essentially you could click and drag the words that are under the sources section, and essentially the further down you go, the lower a priority you're setting on that particular thing, whether it's an image or a video capture, and so everything else over it will literally go on top of it in your stream.
right. So like I just moved the banner underneath the webcam. So now the Periscope EDU is underneath my image.
Yeah.
I don't know how fast it's actually moving for you guys. Do you see that at all?
See that the image, past the scope image, is behind your video capture. Yep.
Right. So I was just mimicking what you were saying, because that means I drug the banner, this is what that image is, underneath the webcam. But if I were to move it on top of the webcam, now it's on top of my image.
Right.
Right. So that's what I was hoping you would get to, because I've seen some producers where the image is hiding underneath, and they have forgotten that this is like a what's the word I'm looking for, a canvas, and that you're putting things on top of one another in layers.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point that out because Dan had his images popping up on that side, which it looks like he had a full screen background, and his video image was on top of the full screen background.
Right.
I couldn't hear what you said. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I have a full screen image. Right now, honestly, I don't even remember exactly what that looked like when I was scoping this morning. But so my image background stays toward the bottom of that sources list, so that everything else, including my video capture and any images I put, behind my background.
Right. And then if you're going to put an image on top of your video, you want to make sure that it's completely transparent. As you can see, the Periscope EDU is on top, but everything in between the globe, the flat layout of the globe, is open to where you can actually still see me. Does that help? Because I was trying to explain that to you, Valerie. Does that help understand that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's clear.
So Stacy, you had some questions about the sources then?
I think so far I'm good with all of that. The way I had mine that I did, I was while you were talking, I was looking at the last one that I did. I did one for Ed Camp Wake, and it consisted of an intro where it was me with a background and a lower third and a graphic. So there were like how many components? 1, 2, 3, 4 components. I tried to put a frame around my video too. So anyways, maybe 5 components. So that was the first thing. And then, and I didn't have to turn anything on and off. I just had to, sit in there and talk. And then I went to my second scene, which was I wanted to just highlight, still have me in the frame and my lower third and my background, but I wanted the graphic to disappear and have Pass the Scope EDU, just the words, the hashtag, and then the third Thursday, just so I had two little text boxes show up. And so I used the text source feature on the right-hand side. So I added those things. And I guess that was where I was asking about making the graphic the lower third the right size, so that if I added it back, it would stay right there in the same place and be the same size. And I wouldn't have to, because when you shift from one scene to another scene, if something is the same from scene to scene, but it changes position,
Yes, yeah.
then you
I
can
haven't seen that
tell.
happen yet, so
It kind of appears to jump,
okay.
As nice as I think I've gotten my scopes to look when I've used OBS Studio, I haven't had to shift from scene to scene. I've only set up, a bunch of sources and switched them on and off as I needed them.
Oh, I see.
So literally that lower third just stays there, and then everything else either appears or doesn't as I need it. Like I said, Stacy, I guess especially if you're using Canva, or even if you don't, I had some success getting those to be 200 pixels high by 1400 wide. The grin of my colleague Brian. I don't know. I wasn't understanding his dimensions, but I found ones that worked for me, and I think it looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna stick with it.
So I think it's, what I think it is? I think it's a difference in how we think. Like you guys, the way you're describing yours is you picked. Now, Brian, I can see though, you've got 3 scenes over there on the left-hand side. I can see your 3 scenes. So you would pick one scene and stack like 10 things in there and turn them all on and off.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I had 3 scenes, but one of them was just a messed up one. But I had 2 scenes which were like completely different things. One was the intro, and then one was the ending, where I wanted to say my final thing about Pass the Scope. So I felt like those were 2 separate things that I just wanted to have the consistent background and the consistent lower third, but the guts of it I wanted to have change. So
I know that Brian gave me some credit for my scope earlier today, but actually I wanted to give him credit because I don't know if you guys saw, he did a setup the other day where they were doing Breakout EDU, and he had multiple cameras going. And so I guess what I wanted to say about OBS, first of all, you all realize how this is going to change the podcasting game, and of course the live streaming game, which is awesome. But the other thing too, Stacy, I think when you're doing like a real studio setup and you have multiple cameras and you're bringing in guests, like a Skype guest or something, I think that's probably when you'd want the different scenes. I feel like if you're just doing a scope, it's just you're sitting in front of the computer, but you just want to bring up images or your mirror your phone or something. I don't know, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like just having one scene and then all those different the sources would probably be the better way to go.
Yeah, I would definitely concur with that. The only reason why I have multiple scenes is because I'm actually trying to put something like a video in full screen in the background and talk over it. Because
that's what I had with the one with the kids, the video of the kids at the showcase, is I wanted to have, you know, cut from me completely out of it and go over to a different source.
yeah, that's the only reason. But I mean, I agree with Dan on that aspect. The other reason is if I wanted to do a full screen demo, like a tutorial, like how Dan was showing us Canva, I would actually do that as a separate scene. But I don't have that issue. So like, for example, if you're still seeing my OBS, when I push this
Yeah,
out
we can still see it
to the audience, so the audience now sees that video, excuse me, but I'm talking over the video as the video is showing, so it's in full screen, and that gives me the opportunity to go back to my main screen and set up for my next scene. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But my main scene, that's what I
And you can control the audio on the video separately
Yeah.
from the audio while you're talking.
That is correct. So you see in the middle where the mixer is, I can control the audio. That's the video A, video 2, and so on and so forth. I can control all of that audio right there in the mixer in the middle. So by the time I'm ready to go back to the video, I've set up my preview window, and it automatically takes me back to what the audience will see in my main screen. And I simply just switch back over, and I have all my sources for my other documents that I'm going to pop up during my broadcast. That's the way I would do it. And Dan, what I noticed that as you started popping things up, can you see this pop up where it says advanced audio properties?
No.
So if you were to click on the mixer here in the center, if you click on that settings cog, what it will pop up is all your audio tracks, and it will say your mic auxiliary. That's your main mic. You can actually set the delay. So it will set sync offset, and then in parentheses milliseconds. And then you want to set it to like 200, whatever the case is. That way your audio actually catches up with your mouth movement when you've got several things running in the background. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I noticed that when I was watching it, you can see the lag between, you can hear the audio and then your mouth will say what you actually said. But that only happened in certain points.
When I would turn on the images?
Yes. You see that? I noticed that the first time I did it, I was like, "Oh, that looks and sounds weird." So that's something you can play around with it. Just do a couple of test scopes with yourselves to play around with the offset if you're going to run a ton of stuff in the background. Because I had the GIF running in the background on my Periscope. I had the game going on.
Yeah.
You know, in the top corner. Cool. I had a lot of things going. I was just trying to get with the theme. That's all I was. But it was causing a drastic delay on my behalf. I'm gonna stop sharing here real quick. You got the gist of what it should look like, right, Tutul?
I think he's gone, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I have to say that is really cool. That's like an awesome tip to know, is that's where you can fix that, is, you know, like what that column is, what that offset column means, is where you can fix that delay.
Yes. So. And you also have transition option. You know, I don't know if that matters to you guys. You know, when you're doing videos, you want the images to slowly fade in or fade to black or whatever the case is. In those scene transitions, if you click the plus sign, they give you 3 more options: swipe, a slide, a fade to color, and a luma wipe. So you simply just add them, and you'll see them in the center between your two preview windows, your preview window and your viewer window. They'll just add there. So when you're ready to go from scene to scene or source to source, you just click on the one you want to create that transition. If that makes sense.
I make cake.
You make cake? I make cake too.
One of the things that I think is actually fun to mess around with in OBS Studio is just the text feature.
Yeah.
Fonts they have, you could set the size, you could set the color, you could have it outlined in a different color, you could have like a background color. So that's pretty cool. And then of course I was able to somehow very quickly figure out the scrolling text that I had going during my sculpt last time to just make it look a little more like a like a sportscast. So that's pretty fun.
So you did the scrolling text inside of OBS?
Correct.
How did you do that?
Sir. If I can show you.
Screen share that, Dan.
All right, let me see what I can do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. Let me minimize the. See the OBS Studio?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So funny. Now it's not letting me turn on my camera here. So funny. Let me just off in Google Hangouts. Is this getting like really trippy?
No, I can't see it. See, this is why I'm using two cameras.
Hey, I ordered that
I have it.
camera.
You ordered yours?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I put the link for. What are you seeing
Well,
now? Do you see my
That's the
OBS
one
Studio?
that Alex recommended on his video, on his Periscope,
Oh, you know what?
Valerie.
I think I.
That
You know what? I
exact
did this
camera.
wrong. Hang on.
Yeah, I've been using this for years.
Mm-hmm.
Years, Stacy.
Hang on.
This is,
I did that wrong.
and I take it to conferences with
The one
me.
that you were saying was like $64 that you had on the Amazon. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I got it when it was 129,
Oh my gosh.
and I have two. So
Yeah,
my
I
wife,
got that too.
my wife wasn't happy.
Was I successful this time? Can you see it?
I just see your desktop.
Yep, we see window.
We can see OBS down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have it open and everything.
It was open a second ago, not in studio mode, but it was open.
All right. Well, I suppose plan B could be that I could talk Brian through how to do it.
Okay. All right, I can do that. Now we gotta get your camera back on here.
Wait. I think it's coming.
There we go. Let's see.
This is so confusing.
Intro.
Well, the only problem is you guys can't see when my pop-ups show.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let me do this.
You know what? Dan is a coach. He can talk us through anything, and we can click. Right? He's got powers.
Actually, it's not that bad. Actually, I'll just explain it, and then hopefully we're able to be able to talk you through it, and maybe actually see it. So you create text.
Text.
You add it.
God,
I keep forgetting that.
So I'm in there now. You see that pop-up box? Oh,
Yeah.
You know what? I never scrolled.
Okay, I'm gonna call mine scrolling text. Okay,
Yep.
create new. Okay.
How did
Exactly
you
what
get
I
to this
called mine.
window?
Okay, so so in your sources, if you just click plus, that's one of your options. It should say text, free type 2.
Okay.
Do you see that, Valerie?
Yeah, I'm looking at it on like through the screen, but I figured I better not open another tab just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have OBS
all right,
on your computer, Valerie?
I do.
Okay.
All right,
I'm gonna make a pretend
just
one.
create some text. Maybe put a background color behind it.
Okay, so I'm gonna choose a text. Oh, sorry, that didn't work out. Hold tight. Did I just? You guys just lose the screen?
No, I can see it.
It's still up.
Okay.
You see where it says Helvetica?
Now we see you.
I don't want you to see me. Hold up.
Let's see. Should I change my font?
That's closed. There we
I'm
go.
gonna just leave it as like a boring font.
I tell you what, I'm gonna do this.
No, I'm gonna make my font Algerian. Okay. Now I have Algerian text. Nobody can read that. That sounds awesome.
No, ma'am.
I'm gonna make it pink.
How about that?
That's horrible. Pink. Not that. Not you. You're not horrible.
Yeah.
Pink text is
Yeah,
horrible.
we
I'm
can
gonna
see
make
that.
mine really ugly. All right. There. Got some pink horrible text.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, where did my text go? Oh, there it is.
So after you put your text in, you can select your font, right?
Yep.
Yep.
You guys see that on my screen at all?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is if I choose my font and I click OK, it closes it. Okay. All right. So now, okay. So I type in hello.
Flamingo. Nice font.
And then from here, I can change the color. Aha!
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to.
We're all picking pink. Everybody's picking pink right there.
Pink? Ew, gross. Okay. This is flamingo. Anyway, I choose pink.
That's right. See, it's a thing.
So it gives me a chance to do two colors. So can I do pink and blue?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh, I'm gonna do pick two colors.
So you got outline. Oh, I don't like the outline. Then you got
Fancy.
drop shadow. I like the drop shadow. So where is the scrolling portion?
Well, you gotta set up the text first.
Okay.
Okay, once it's finalized.
And then just press OK. Okay.
And yeah, press OK. And then when you can see it and you have it, you know, where you want it, or it does, honestly, it doesn't really need to be wherever you want it yet. You see, I don't know what you named it, but it says text, or maybe in Stacy's case, I think she called it scrolling text or something.
Yeah.
Under your sources list, wherever that is, or I don't know. Do you right click on a Mac? I know that sounds funny, but I don't even know. So I right click on it, and then it gives me the option all the way down that little menu that says filters.
Yes, I see that.
Okay, so you click filters.
And
then that brings up a new screen.
Look.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked up something, and then so you add it just like you would add another source, but in this case,
town. You're magical.
Click the plus sign, and then you.
Yeah, I see that.
You could name it whatever you want, and then you click OK, and then the text.
Does it just do it?
And you can adjust the speed, it looks like, of the scroll.
Yes. I remember how fast I had. I think I had it going at like 40 when I did my scope last week for the March Madness. And then so you set the speed, and now it starts scrolling on your OBS studio.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, so my horizontal speed right now is 0. So I want it. Ooh, it's going backwards.
So crank.
Ooh, look at that.
It's going backwards?
Yeah, because I made it go negative.
I got it. That is, Dan, it's awesome.
Brian, yours it's going from right to upper left.
Yes, I made it do that. I was doing it on purpose, so I wanted to see what it's going to do.
Yeah, I like that. That is.
Look at that.
That's it.
Now, if you expand the text box, it'll disappear all the way off the edge of the screen.
Yeah, actually, that's how I did it. I thought it looked better doing it like
yeah.
that when I did my March Madness one.
Yeah. And mine was like small, so it was like disappearing off the middle of the screen. So, but then I just stretched my text box.
Making it look like an
And if
infinity pool.
Exactly. I was like, wow.
correctly, I put a couple of different things in my scrolling text when I did my scope last week. I think I had the hashtags, and then I think I had, I believe, Stacy, you came after me, so I had your,
I felt very
and
famous.
so just I just separated that. I just put like a bunch of spaces in between. Like I hit the space bar, I think 25 times or something, just to create some space so there'd be that difference in the text.
That was awesome.
Okay.
That's really cool. So just to back up that beginning part there, Brian, because I'm looking at your screen. You hit the plus sign. And out of the sources, there was the one that was called text.
Yes, you see it right now?
Yes, now see that one that says free type. When I just went to look at mine, I don't think it said free type, but it did say text.
It says,
yeah, mine just
and
said
then in
text.
parentheses, it says, mine says text, and in parentheses, GDI plus.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what mine says too. Okay.
And I just delete that out of there and call it what I wanted.
Got you.
Yeah,
Just right click on it and rename it.
Right, correct.
Okay, so in this box that's on your screen right there, Brian, where it said create new, that's in that space there, that's when you type the word hello?
Yeah, I named it whatever I wanted to name it.
Okay, which on your sources thing, you named it text?
I just kept it as text, right?
Gotcha. Okay, that was the part that I missed while you guys were talking. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess if you're going to do several text source transitions, you want to name them accordingly.
Right, right.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. Dan, you were really exploring to dig and find that.
That is really good. Right,
Yeah,
clicking on that.
On that, and it really wasn't that bad. Once I was able to understand how to click into those filters, it was pretty easy to set up. All you had to do was set the speed of it.
Yeah, I see. And you've got your scale as well. So right clicking on it actually opens the door to several other options for you.
Yep. Yeah, like I'll mess around with the those transforming options sometimes.
That's awesome. All right, yeah, it's approaching an hour that we've been together. I got to go read stories.
No, this was good, and hopefully
It's very informative.
Yeah, it will be helpful to others that can watch the replay that didn't get to join us live.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. We'll pass the scope to
Thanks, guys.
bedtime. See y'all.
Good night.